Hello, Governor. Welcome to BingeWorthy, part of the Geekish Network. We binge a show to let you know if you should. I'm your host, Rakai, new from the Ville, and with me today, I have the esteemed privilege to welcome my wonderful panel of guests. I'm going to start off with an oldie but a goodie. You haven't seen her in a while, but she is back to graces with her presence, and I couldn't be happier. Miss De La, say hello to the people.
What's up? What's up? So glad to be back and be able to chat. I've missed y'all so much.
It's wonderful, wonderful to have you back. Also, Mr. Sintel with the Intel. How you doing, sir? Say hello to people.
Home. I'm still at home now. I'm so happy to be here, and especially to talk about this project right here because it's all over the place.
And without further ado, I give you the OG, triple OG himself, Mr. Charles Babb. Chuck, say hello to the people.
What's up, people? What it do? What it do?
All right, now if you're an audience member, feel free to communicate with us, and I want to tell you that we are going to do our best to keep this a spoiler-free show for you. We're really going to tell you whether you should binge this show or not. Now, today we're going to let you know if you should watch Hulu's Paradise, and I say Hulu's Paradise because there are other shows named Paradise. So this is the one we're talking about with Sterling K. Brown. Now, set in the city-sized underground bunker in Colorado 3 years after a doomsday event. The series follows United States Secret Service agent Xavier Collins as he seeks to discover the truth behind the killing of the President of the United States. Now, it's part of the premise, so it's not really a spoiler. As Xavier comes under suspicion of President Bradford's death, he searches for answers about what really happened, and he's unsure of whom he can trust as his questions lead to many shocking revelations. All right, now our technical producer, the best in the land, Mr. Rodney Cajudo, he posts our cast members' ratings for Hulu's Paradise. Now, while he posts the ratings, I want to let you know that we rate the show at the beginning, and then at the end, we have a re-rating just to see if anyone's had a change of heart based on a discussion. So, Rodney, what did we come up with for the ratings? Let's see the screen. What do we come up with? Because I can't see the screen.
I see it. I see it on YouTube though. It's up on YouTube.
I'm watching on YouTube right now. It's not there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Meals.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay,
My bad.
so
It's up on. It's not in the Zoom. It's on the YouTube. It's
Yeah, I
on
was like, what-
Full
Oh, there.
Meals.
I see it now.
There it is.
I
It
see it
popped
now.
up.
Yeah.
There
My
it is,
bad.
there
My
it is.
bad.
Delay.
All right. Well, it's going to be hard to figure out the math on
It was
that.
like
So.
delayed reaction.
My bad.
All right. Well, needless to say, we all came up with a full meal. So, Chuck, you want to give some rationale behind your rating?
Yes, I give rationale behind my rating. I actually really truly enjoyed this show. I didn't expect it to be a mystery box, and for it to be a mystery box light. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's not a deep mystery box, but I enjoyed it. I thought its penultimate episode was one of the best I've seen in the industry, and I actually enjoyed the finale. Yeah, it gave me a lot of questions, and I have a lot of questions concerning the finale. But I'm excited about the season two. I thought it was well acted, well performed. I thought the writing was good and swift. It was definitely set for modern times, and we're actually this could actually be our reality in a couple of years.
That part.
That's it. That's it. I don't know about you all. I'm on a plane, guys. I'm on a plane.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it on a plane.
I'm gonna be mowing lawns in paradise.
I heard that. All right. I
I'm
see
gonna
you.
be the gardener.
Okay. Forrest Gump. Okay. Um, Centel, what about your rating, sir?
Very strong pilot, an exceptional, sensational pilot. Chuck said about the mystery boxes. I enjoyed it. I don't always have to have overly complicated. This was a good enough a mystery. And not just mystery box, water cooler talk. Like when people finally did catch up and being like, "Yo, are you watching this?" The water cooler talk and the conversation pieces that have been going on with it, it just made it very exciting to watch the show. The only reason why I didn't give it a binge out, and we will discuss it, is that as fantastic and as incredible and as ballyhooed as this project gets, it suffers a tremendous flaw in my eyes, and we'll discuss that a little bit later on.
Okay. Miss Dayla.
Yeah, wow, I'm so excited to talk in this way. I definitely enjoyed the show, and I think there was a certain way in which being able to binge it gave me the energy to get through, because there started to be these bleed throughs of like, oh, this feels a little like it could be happening now or soon, right? Um, I think there's also an interesting thing, and Dan Fogelman and the way that this series is crafted so that there's almost a nostalgia for the recent past is really fascinating. Like, because of these events and how we understand, like, the way in which the storytelling, and I think I appreciate what Chuck said about the swiftness of the writing, and like, so there were just enough breadcrumbs at certain moments for me to really know enough to know what was going on, but then to start to like sink into the quiet places or the mysteries, to then also imagine, oh, like there were just moments where I was like, don't go off in a tangent and imagine what this is like in our world. Stay in this story. You're in the story. And so the writing helped, the story, the and the excellent performances. I mean, it's interesting when we see like who's in the main cast and like who are the supporting, because there was a couple people I was like, oh, I don't want to spoil the thing. It was just interesting to see and to witness the ways in which everybody was like just excellent, like solid performances. I'm there with them. Moments that I agree in episode 7, like, Shakespeare likes to say art is job is to hold up a mirror. And there's a lot of mirrors in the show.
Okay. All right. Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I was super intrigued about this show before it came on, and I talked to Trey about to Centel about possibly doing this show. He was in agreement. So yes, this is a plug. On his particular YouTube channel, we did a full
Mm-hmm.
reaction to all 8 episodes and had a wonderful discussion. And then on my channel, we did we did a video where we spent some time kind of digging into how to deal with not only this show and what we saw from the show, but what would we actually be like if the end of the world came? Like, how would we react? And just talked about that motif and took it across, other films that we've seen in this genre. I was not going, I didn't want to watch the show at first because of who made it. I know that Dan Fogelman and the people that make This Is Us make outstanding TV, but I also know that I watched like half of a show of This Is Us, and he used every opportunity he could to try to jerk some water out of my eyes. Like, hell no, no, we're not doing this. I'm not gonna be crying every damn episode. You didn't make that up. Uh, but finding out that this was more murder mystery, I was captivated by Sterling K. Brown. I bought into him as a character and his plight within the show. Hollywood doesn't really make pilot episodes anymore, and I have to say this is one of the best pilots I've seen in a very long time. The penultimate show, even though there were flaws in it, still might be one of the best hours of TV in a long time. It was fantastic. This was a really, really strong show from top to bottom, and we will talk about what I personally saw as flaws that took away from the show. But the one thing I had no problem giving a full meal. I only didn't give it a binge worthy because of some of those flaws, but full meal easy because yes, I would recommend this show to other people and think that they should watch it, flaws and all. Um, how this show had a different premise. Even though we've seen post-apocalyptic type shows before, and we've seen shows that are on the fringe, had several components of it, movies and things like that, that had elements that compose this show. How do you think this show did their world building and character development as they were trying to balance the plot? And that question's for the group, so anyone can jump in there and take that one off.
Chuck, can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
There we
Okay.
go.
I thought it was rather quick. I thought the plot and the character development happened rather fast. They went through this. They didn't waste any time in this show. Where other shows I've seen linger on this whole world they have, they didn't linger on it too long. It was like it was the kickoff to the whole entire show is what's going on in the world they're in.
Okay.
Not to spoil it or anything, but I
Okay.
thought it was rather fast. I thought they jumped into the characters really fast. I like how they built the president, like how they explained to you who the president was do vignettes throughout his career and his interactions with people, loved ones in his life. I thought that was very interesting as well,
Mm-hmm.
and how everybody responded to him because we saw flashbacks and it was like, oh, that's why they feel that way. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's how they feel that way. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think again, we are trying to keep this as spoiler free, and that's why we're kind of having a hard time tiptoeing around some things, because there's things about the show that make us excited we want to talk about. But
Mhm.
that's not a spoiler. It's part of the plot. It's in the synopsis. The
Mhm.
president, Cam Bradford, that's played by James Marsden,
Mhm.
Cyclops from X-Men,
Mhm.
from the Sonic movies, he is
Yes.
Mhm.
killed in episode 1. So they're
Mhm.
they're they're not tiptoeing around this. They drop you
Mhm.
right into the story in the pilot episode. I'm sorry,
Knowing
Trey,
that's
you were
not,
going to say something?
and knowing that's not going to ruin anything. I
Mhm.
like what they did with some of the characters. As far as like making me care, and there is one in particular that I really enjoyed. And and the plot unfolds, and that character, you know, things happen, and it carried weight because they gave me an opportunity to get to know who this character was. And
Well, we can say the character's name. Who was the character?
you want me to say the character's name? You sure?
I
No,
mean, you
I don't.
can
I don't
say
want
the
to ruin
character's
that.
name. I mean, it's not spoiling anything that you cared about the character.
Okay, well, there was a character, Billy. I'll just say Billy. There's a
Okay.
character named Billy
Yeah.
that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and things happen. So it's like, okay, all right, that made those moments and they made those moments a big payoff for me because they took the time. I really enjoyed Sterling K. Brown's Xavier. He's frustrating as hell. Sterling K. Brown does a very good job of making me love this character and make me so disappointed in this character.
Mm.
It changes so often for various reasons. And you're going to enjoy and hate it at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. Same thing with James Marsden's character with Gal. How you feel about somebody in the beginning may change, and should if you're going to have a character with good character development. And I think the characters to me probably stand out the most with the acting that's done. Only followed by like some really good, decent mystery box moments. There's one in particular, like what causes these horrible events to happen, and me and Rakai had so much fun guessing. Like, is it
Mm-hmm.
this? Could have been this thing or this week. It's just a litany of different things, and then when it is explained, it's worth it. That episode is probably some of the best TV I've seen in quite some time. It's excellent world building, excellent characters.
Mhm.
Dayla, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I'm just echoing and thinking about I will also just say I'm trying to figure out how to say things without saying things.
Yeah, yeah, it's difficult. Here,
I'm
let me jump in. Let me say this. The one of the things I think that I really enjoyed about this and how they did the world building and the character development is that they told the story in a non-linear fashion. Now, they didn't go all like way out of order like this is a Quentin Tarantino movie, but as Chuck mentioned earlier, they gave you these vignettes and they gave you flashbacks from other times to help explain a character's backstory and explain the interactions between characters as we saw them. So as the story moved forward linear, it was also moving backwards at the same time, and we got to see all these different places. And a lot of the as the story was building, they would do all these callbacks to things where you get to start putting together the pieces of the mystery. And it
Yeah.
honestly, there were a lot of red herrings. Like they did a lot of misdirects. They did a lot of misdirects where you were like jumping out and be like, ah, this is what's going to happen. And then like the next episode, you're like, shit, I was wrong as hell. Like, damn, I did not see that coming, you know? And that was one of the things that really got me. Some of the stuff that you didn't see coming. And to Centel's point, how you feel about and I can't say that about the people that make This Is Us. Dan Fogelman, they do a wonderful job of doing this, giving you depth in characters and making you care about the characters. And they did that very quickly, I might add. They made us kind of get into the characters and we cared about these characters. And then they do all these misdirects and they would do things with the characters. You'd be like, I don't know if I still like they ass. Like, damn it, that piss me off. Like, that is some dumb shit. Like, and it was really interesting to see the characters you love, you could start hating. The characters that you thought you hated, you'd be like, ah, they're not as bad as I thought they was. It was really interesting to see how they put that together.
It was a mystery box of emotion. It's like that's what they wanted to do.
Ooh,
Put a
good.
mystery box of
That's
emotion.
really good.
Yeah.
And you can see characters interact with each other and they don't necessarily like each other and you don't really understand why. And then you had that Rashomon moment where you get one character's perspective and another character's perspective, what would actually happen, and then explain things. And this show does one thing very, very well. The no character is too small.
Yeah.
Like even the smallest characters are very important.
That could also
in
be
this
a
world.
problem.
Yeah,
that could be a very big problem later on, but you know.
Right
You know,
now.
for sure.
Right now.
For sure. So, okay, now I know how to say what I'm trying to say without saying the thing that I can't say. What I found really interesting about this show, its approach and the premise, is the way in which it reminds me of how I felt when I first watched Scandal.
Ooh.
Or no, not Scandal. Sorry, Scandal in certain ways, but really what I was trying to say is How to Get Away with Murder. Because How to Get Away with Murder sets up the premise of the show in the title, right? But also we start to understand relationships, character, even the plot changes based on the way in which information is revealed to us and when we're able to understand what is true versus what I thought I saw. And so I just really appreciate how in Hulu's Paradise, it was a different way to anchor me in the mystery and to give over to the way that time revealed different truths or plot points or character moments. I'll just say the premise of the show tells us that it starts 3 years after people have been in this paradise.
What?
And there's stuff about that, and it just so as a community builder, as a cultural gatherer, as I watched that show, like there was just a lot to think about, and you know, that's why I was like, there are just some moments where I was like, yeah, I would think about how people, what it's like to be there 3 years in to where this show tells us we are. I think I can say it.
Can I give a quick shout out to the villainy? There's some good villainy. Good old solid villainy. People that you enjoy to not like.
Yeah.
I like that, you know.
Yeah, and we have said on more than one occasion that, you know, the truth, there's so many things that make a good show, a good movie. But story and almost the villain, or I don't want to say the villain, the antagonist. That makes a show for me, you know what I'm saying? Because even if it's, you know, the people that work for the city or what have you. There's always an antagonist, an obstacle, a conflict that has to be come to a resolution. And in this, they gave us a very good villain. And then there were villains that we didn't see. And some of the heroes that we thought were heroes weren't necessarily heroes. It was kind of back and forth, and that made it very intriguing to watch. And again, I will plug, just because of being in the moment, if you go to Centel's channel and watch our reaction to Paradise, it's actually very interesting. Our discussion at the end of each episode, and then to De La's point, the discussion that we had on my channel about how would you react if this was your world. How would you react? There's so many, disaster movies and things like that, post-apocalyptic things like that. And we said at the beginning, Chuck said it, this movie, this series could almost be our reality. Like, and just they had a plot device here where we kept trying to guess what led to this. And once we finally found out, it's hard to not think of yourself as just a regular American person that you found out just like everybody else. And when you find out, it's like, at this point, ain't nothing to do but get ready to die. Like, that is some terrible, like, oh my God. Like, it's kind of it's harrowing, but it's also very sombering to think about. It's like, maybe I need to be doing more now. Like, we was talking about zombie movies. I was like, yeah, I learned in Zombieland, I need to get my cardio together. Shit, I need to get in shape or something, because I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it to day 2 of this shit. So, were there any standout performances from anyone that to you truly helped elevate the show? And that can not only be a character, but we've had discussions in other projects where we talked about the cinematography, we talked about the soundtrack. Like, what was a standout for you that truly made this show come alive for you?
Where do we start? I'll get the ball rolling. I gotta say, the actress who played Julianne Nicholson, who played Sinatra. Don't get me wrong, everybody loves Sterling K. Brown. That's the layup. I don't want to do the layup. But Sinatra is a very interesting character because you get a chance to watch that arc change and justify your feelings for the decisions for God, it's hard to do this without spoiling. My God, this is difficult.
Yeah.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Julianne Nicholson probably had a lot of fun playing this character. I can say that. And what they bring and how you feel about them is going to be valid, and it's earned. And it is, because that performance is so well, when other characters are kind of revealed to have, the aha moments, and they didn't have that type of care of us being introduced to them, you feel cheated. Her performance was that good that when other reveals happen, you'll be like, oh, that doesn't feel worthy. I'll leave it at that. God, this is tough.
Oh man,
this is tough to talk about.
I'm gonna throw out my standout performance again. Julianne Nicholson as Sinatra was good. She was really good. Yeah. Sterling K. Brown was Sterling K. Brown. He's award-winning. Yeah. I think a standout performance was James Marsden as Cam Bradford. If you look at damn near every series he has ever been in, he's not number 1 on the call sheet. He was damn near the poster boy for the X-Men series, but that we all know that was 100% about Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman might have still been second to Patrick Stewart. The thing is, that wasn't about James Marsden. The Sonic thing, it's not about him.
It's about Sonic.
Think that. Yeah, and I think that his portrayal and his arc of what he went through um to become the president of this now post-apocalyptic town called Paradise was really magnificent. And even the growth that he had while he was there up until his dying day, and actually the lasting impact that he had after he passed, the way that he played that was actually really, really good. I hate that he pieced us out in the first episode. And even though we saw him every episode of the season, I thought that he gave a really understated performance.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard, sometimes as a character actor, when you are on screen with other people that are powerhouses like a Sterling K. Brown, like a Julianne Nicholson, your game, your level, you elevate. I think it was really hard that he played his position very well. And, he's one of those, in sports, they give an award to the sixth man of the year. He had a
Mm-hmm.
very understated but solid performance.
Uh, I'm gonna say Gerald McRaney.
Mm,
I think Gerald McRaney came through and stole every scene he was on the screen. Playing Kane Bradford was amazing. This old wearing, this dementia led, decrepit get off my lawn dude
Mm-hmm.
as his father was amazing. And the fact that his father made it into the basement is even more amazing. And all his dialogues, it was like,
hmm
wow, this is what made a president.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
Mm-hmm.
a
like
lot
it.
of people don't remember Gerald McRaney. Gerald McRaney was first on the call sheet. He had a couple sitcoms back in the 80s, 90s. He was I think he was on Coach. He was Major Dad. Like he had a
He
few
was
shows of
Major
his
Dad.
own
Mhm.
back in the day. Um,
He got his
and
start on
Coach was
designing
great.
women.
yes.
Did
hmm
That's
he?
what it
Yes,
was.
he did.
Yeah,
That's
because
what it
his
Wow.
was.
his
Yeah,
wife is Delta Burke, right?
that's
So,
right.
hmm
That's
and
right. I
I just
love
respect
designing women.
for sure, right? So I love where we're going. I did all the things that y'all just said, and I feel like the other in stories like these, there's the adults in the action, and sometimes we have these extended families of characters. And so in this show, I just want to shout out Aaliyah Maston, who plays Presley Collins,
Yeah.
who's
Oh, yes.
Sterling K. Brown's character Xavier's daughter, and then
Okay.
Charlie Evans, who plays Jeremy Bradford, the son of James Marsden's
hmm
character.
Hmm.
And interesting, like props about the writing for what these character arcs are and like their journey in this, and just all the and I guess we could when we go to themes and stuff, but just to be teenagers in this situation, or to be young people in this situation, and just so impressed by the nuance that it's always awesome to see younger actors come into their also the craft of what they're discovering in these contexts on set or in these processes. So just really, yeah, just honoring the journey that these two actors got to
Yeah.
go on in these roles. You know.
I I I do want to echo what you just said because while I did really like Jeremy Bradford playing his position, I really
Mm-hmm.
loved how they wrote Presley. Um, and I was like, the way I was like, listen, there is a black woman in a writing room writing for Presley. Uh, because
Mm-hmm.
without giving away, plot devices story, the role that Presley took on in uh hell, she was damn near a mama to her daddy, the Secret Service agent. Like
Mm-hmm.
she took on the role, and I was like, oh, that right there, that a black woman, that's not, that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it said so much about our culture, even in this microcosm of they made this little
Mm-hmm.
town of Paradise that's very, very Stepford Wives. It's
Mm-hmm.
very 60s, Leave It to Beaver suburban type area, where you have the local malt
Mm-hmm.
shop type shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
like it it didn't speak to like 90s, 2000s type functionality.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no mall there. You
Mhm.
had mom and pop type shops. It was very small town feel. Um,
Mhm.
and even in all of that, in the Collins household,
Mhm.
even though Xavier is a Secret Service agent, he's protecting the president, there was still this hint because of Presley of no, no, this is a black household, and I could
Mhm.
feel culture in the household. Even though she might have on a
Mhm.
little blazer, like she goes to a private school or something like that, it felt a little bit more true to her than a fish out of water, like a Prince of
Mhm.
Bel Air type stuff. So I
Mhm.
I really appreciated her performance in
And I
this.
would say I would even zoom out on that. As you're saying that, I was like, there are several scenes that I feel like my friends who are on the I'm the older sister thread, like just
Mm-hmm.
growing up the older sister woman of color life, just like the conversation. There's a couple conversations that she has with her dad
Mm-hmm.
that are just I like I as soon as you said that I was like, yeah, I had a couple of like, wow, I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody put that on TV. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've
Right.
I can relate to this in a really deep way that just feels nice to see on a television program that hey look this is what these are kinds of conversations that happen in families.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, for sure.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room now? The elephant in the room. And I just want
Mm-hmm.
to give a quick little
Go
love
ahead. Yeah.
fest to
Come
Yeah.
on.
Sterling K. Brown. Just that to me it's kind of the elephant in the room because his performance is so good. It's award winning. I wouldn't be surprised, if when Emmys come around, he gets brought up. And he doesn't disappoint. It's excellent. He's frustrating as hell. Golly, the character is frustrating. And Sterling K. Brown makes you want to smack the hell out this dude. But then you also want to be like, you want to cheer him on and be like, hell yeah, do that thing, get your lick back or whatever. All that. It's like all of that, and you don't know which version of him you're gonna get.
Uh-huh.
When you're proud of him, your chest is big. When you
Yeah.
have those moments where you can see that he's a little bit broken and maybe a little defeated or confused, you feel all of it. He was the most complicated character in the show, and Sterling K. Brown knocked it out the
He
park.
absolutely was, and they got the right person to play him because you're right. When when he was up, and we're all cheering to the rafters like that's my dude. And then when he was down, he was like, "I will whoop his monkey." Like,
Yes.
dude, what in the hell?
What are
Like,
Like
you thinking? What are you
really,
thinking?
really right
Really?
now?
Yeah,
Really
right
this
now.
is what
Right
you're
now.
doing?
This what you're doing? This what you're doing?
Right now? Right now.
oh,
This is the
dude.
choice?
This is your
Exactly.
choice?
This is the choice right
Yeah,
now?
In this moment, this
Nah.
is what you're
Are we
thinking.
sure?
yeah.
Are we sure?
I think I saw Killmonger come out and say,
That,
"This is your
that,
king.
that,
This is
all
your
that,
Dude,
He's
that.
so
all
Like, what
day.
the hell's wrong with you?
Like, come on.
Out of all my socials, he was always the number one conversation piece. When it
Yes.
came to it, was like this dude Sterling.
But
Mm-hmm.
you saw it though.
Mm-hmm.
You saw
Yeah.
all of
Mm-hmm.
that. Like
Mm-hmm.
country, love for country,
Mm-hmm.
love for family,
Mm-hmm.
love for his job. You
Mm-hmm.
saw
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what's a good foil was his wife. She was excellent. Like the
Mm-hmm.
boarding school scene.
oh, that was
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
oh, it was so good. He didn't know
uh
what
Mm-hmm.
to do. He didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
was
but
like, yeah,
but I
yeah, he's
think that
second
was
fiddle in his household. He's the
but
second
Mm-hmm.
fiddle in his
but I think
household.
that show also is what helped lead us to and identify that frustration with him more because he made some choices that we're like,
Mm-hmm.
what in the hell are you doing? And it was
Mm-hmm.
because of that, like we saw, it was like, no wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like you second
Mm-hmm.
fiddle, and
Mm-hmm.
when you should step up and be the first fiddle, dude, you still playing second fiddle, and
Mm-hmm.
it just
Mm-hmm.
it frustrated the piss out of me. The one thing I
Mm-hmm.
will say is, Centel said it earlier, water cooler, because
Mm.
some of the choices that he made, the way he played this character,
Mm-hmm.
damn it, every episode, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know the world is, the world is open again and people outside touching grass, but damn
Mm-hmm.
it, if there's a water cooler for you to be saying at work, you are talking about this dude and what he just did, what he just said. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
what in the hell? Like,
Yeah,
he
Mm-hmm.
played that part well
yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
every episode he became a conversation piece,
Yeah.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. I hate to say it, but he's kind of a people pleaser.
I
He's
get that.
very
Xavier.
much a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And when he stands up not to be that, it's kind of like not natural to him.
yeah, but I took it a little bit differently, and I know it's people pleaser. Like I have a military background, but I actually have a cousin who is in. Well, he's retired now. He retired from the Secret Service. He actually did
Mm-hmm.
that for a job, and he actually, once upon a time, had a detail where he was on W, and I was like, hey, like if they start shooting, you gonna do your job, or you gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
a- and it's one of those things. It's like that is a different type of job, and
Yeah.
anytime,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy for us to be on the outside looking in, but it's just like anybody. If you take your job seriously, you chose to do that
Mm-hmm.
job as a profession. No matter what clown they assign you to, you take your job
Mm-hmm.
seriously, and it really
Mm-hmm.
also called into some other questions deeper into the series, because it really made you start questioning what
Mm-hmm.
he held dear and what he thought about, especially in fulfilling his duties of his job. It made very
Mm-hmm.
interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I got one more standout performance, and it's not necessarily a person, but episode 7 I think is a
Oh,
performance in itself. And there's
Mm-hmm.
things outside of the story just being amazing. The special effects. There's this isn't a spoiler because this is a disaster tale, and you get a chance to maybe get a little bit closer to it. I'll say that. And the detail that they use to show you what's going on was really some really the tension, like that whole episode you could feel that
yeah.
knot here from the
Mm-hmm.
word go until it ends, and for the special effects to show kind of like
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of like what happens. And they have this score that's just from the time the show starts, they have this score that goes and it never lets up ever. It just there's no space to really kind of like breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was a standout performance, episode 7 in itself.
Here I'll tell you without spoiling it. I'll tell you what that episode 7 felt like. It felt like watching the Super Bowl. Was it Seattle Seahawks versus New England Patriots? Fourth and whatever, we on the goal
Mm-hmm.
line. The Seahawks about to win, and everybody in the world knows they're gonna give that ball to Marshawn Lynch. And the way that episode went off was the frustration that you felt with that final play of the game. Now, depending on if you were for the Patriots, depending on if you were the Seahawks, is how you felt about that. But that was how I felt in that moment. Like everything was good, 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 good. Are you kidding me? Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
that was one of those type of episodes where I'd have went outside and just yelled to the rooftops. Anybody can hear me. Like you've got to be what?
Mm-hmm.
But again, if I'm frustrated with that episode, if I'm frustrated with the actions of certain characters in that episode,
Mm-hmm.
that show had me that emotionally invested that
Mm-hmm.
it moved me in such a way that it pissed me off in real life.
Yep.
Like I had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to go
Mm-hmm.
drink some water, cool down, go for a walk, like do some Pilates and some shit. Like I was like, you've got to be,
Mm-hmm.
and
Trapping.
And can I say
yeah,
that
and
you helped me? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
But just to build on that, like what we were talking about in terms of like they, how the arc kind of built to that, it feels like there are other kinds of shows where we're promised to see where the catastrophic event we think we're going to see. And then when we get there, it's not satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they walked a really tight line of giving me what I really wanted to see, what I didn't want to see, and like that mix, like you said, like, yeah, the pace and the tempo of that episode, and like just performances, and I just had been waiting for that part of the story to be flushed out.
Yeah.
I wanted to, and it makes me think about season 1 of oh, what's the cannibal teenager lacrosse
Oh yeah,
air
Yellow
plat air
Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yellow
was like,
Jackets.
what is the name of that show? Yellow
Yeah.
Jackets.
Yeah.
You don't get to see all the alls at the end of season 1.
Mhm.
You get some of it,
Mhm.
but and I feel like super amazing that I felt like I got to see all the alls, and I still have all kinds of other questions. Like, there's still other questions, and I'm still on the ride in the episode because it's like I'm like, and I want to know what happened. Like, how did it go down?
Yeah.
What?
I love how sometimes you'll see something, you'll see a scene, and you'd be like, "Who is that person?" Because I don't see that person ever again. So it's like, "Who's that person?"
Yeah.
And then as how things kind of unfold, you're like, "Oh, okay, all right, I get it now." Yeah. It's. Yeah.
I
I think
definitely
that
like the way they brought characters back. Like
Mhm.
you did, they were gone. Nah, we're not done with them yet. We're not done. It's very Lost like in that manner.
I think those last few episodes did such a wonderful job at once they started revealing how the world got to that point. It did a very good job, probably better than any other disaster movie I watched, that it made me think about it in real life. Like, how would I perform? How would I act if the shit hit the fan and this is the direction things went? Like, if I was in this person's shoes, what would I do different than what they've done? Like, how, and I thought that's a very good conversation to have, especially in the actual times that we're in right now. Hell, we might need to start thinking more in that damn way anyway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought that this show, we've seen other post-apocalyptic shows, movies, 2012, Fallout, um, and I think it made it easier to accept this show because you've seen other pieces of media that had little pieces that they included in this, and it made it easier to accept this. But the way the story unfolded is like, yeah, I don't know if I'd have done anything like these characters, or I would have done this completely different. It was a really great conversation piece.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Is this show binge worthy? I mean, I know at the beginning we all gave it a full meal, saying we gave it a vote of confidence, and it's our second highest award. Is this show binge worthy? What do we want in additional seasons or additional season? Or has this show pretty much its climax? Like, where they got to at the end of the season finale, have we gotten pretty much the best that we're going to get out of this show? What do y'all think?
That is a good question. Uh, this bothers me because they're talking about splitting the scenes and where the show takes place, and that scares me a little bit because now it turns into more of a Walking Dead type of show, a survival type of show, and I'm not sure if I want that right now. I I'm personally not done with Paradise. And to know
Yeah.
how Paradise was built, I'm definitely not done with Paradise. You know,
And based on where we left things at, does everything just go back to status quo? Like, where are we at with Paradise? Like, am I ready to see another locale? I don't know if I want that.
yeah, I think I'm going to stay in Paradise a little longer.
I mean, we watched did we do it on binge worthy? I think we did. We watched a series a while back last year, called Silo, an Apple TV show. And the first season of Silo this a post-apocalyptic show. The first season of Silo was everything that happened in this bunker. So kind of the same premise, but not. By the time season 1 ended, we got a split where now
Mm-hmm.
you got things happening in another locale and things happening back in the silo. And
Mm-hmm.
for that show, because it was a slow burn, it didn't have the kind of plot building and performances that this did. But
Mm-hmm.
I was done. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
go back for season 2. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch that. I don't know if I'm really
Mm-hmm.
even concerned with what happens in
Mm-hmm.
the silo, but I know I don't want to watch the silo and
Mm-hmm.
something else.
Mm-hmm.
I I am torn with this. I don't know if I want to go to anywhere else outside of Paradise. But the way that things wrapped up, I don't know what story they have left to tell in
Mm-hmm.
Paradise, and it kind of scares me. My only caveat to that right now is that hell, them people that did This Is Us, I didn't watch that show, but hell, they bounced that out for like 8 seasons. So, and
It
people
held on
seem
for
to
a
rock
while.
with it the whole time. So,
I binged that show through the second to last season, and then I
Uh-huh.
watched the last season in real time. Like,
mm-hmm,
I appreciate that show. I'll just say this, folks who are grieving, I found that a helpful show to watch and let myself
Mm,
open the waterworks because I had stuff to cry out that I couldn't let out
Mm.
until I watched somebody do a thing or not
oh
do a thing. You know what
yeah,
I'm
I don't,
saying? So
yeah,
I'll just say, like, for me, I couldn't give it a binge worthy because this is not like when I watch my Star Trek content or my Star Wars content and I
mm-hmm,
get to go to a place.
mm-hmm,
This kind of show is binge worthy, but I realized that as I was coming into it, I can't binge, like, in the binging, there's too much feels. There's a lot, like,
mm,
the mystery box of feels. So I had to give it a full meal because I needed to have some breaks.
yeah,
mm,
I,
But in terms of like its excellence, it is certainly an excellent binge. I would give it binge worthy. I just tempo wise, energy wise, what's happening in the world, my world,
Mhm.
I'm like, whoo, it's a different kind of watch right now.
mm,
And I realized as we were talking, like, in a levity way, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of, like, there's one of the motifs in this show is the president and the bodyguard. And that question you all were talking about earlier, like, would you take a bullet? And it makes me think about Ving Rhames in Dave, like,
mm,
wacky comedy. And like, there's a constant question. Dave, the premise is there's an actor imitating the president because of the president's not really able to be president.
yeah,
And Ving Rhames is his Secret Service person, and
mm-hmm,
he's joking around. He's like, "So you're gonna take a bullet for me?" And his answer is like, "Nah." you know, he's like,
uh-huh.
he can't say nah, but he's like, nah. And then there's an arc in that movie, right? So
Yeah.
I just think about all these different pieces, like the apocalypse, the how we understand the truth or the plot and the tempo and the
Mm-hmm.
time of a show, as well as like all of this stuff around Secret Service and presidents, and how could the Secret Service let some guy be on a barn and shoot at Trump, and didn't we see him with the drone and 50 people in the crowd saw him? Like, so there's all of that is also baked into the show. So yeah, excellence wise, I would say hex yeah, it's binge worthy. But in my life right now, in the tempo, I need a little full meal. I need a little
I
bit of snack,
respect that.
bite size. Like, I'll just say that's why I haven't watched your reaction stuff, because I was like, I'm not ready to, like, go. I
oh,
can't enjoy the going back through.
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes, I need a I
You
need
need a
a
breather.
I
Yeah.
need a breather. I need a palate cleanser before I go back in for the next portion. Mm.
Mm.
The interesting thing about everything you just said is also how we consume media these days. Like, for many years now, since people started cutting the cord, Netflix has been the model. If the show drops on Friday and there's 8 episodes, they give you all 8 that day, like to give it all to you.
Mhm.
And then, like to binge this, like to run through all 8 episodes of this, I don't know if I could have done that. Um, I've almost, even though sometimes, especially when you get a cliffhanger, you get a really good episode, you're like, damn, I'm ready to go on and watch the next episode. But I'm almost appreciative that this show was a week to week show, because we had so much to talk about after every episode, because it was just, there was so much going on, and we just out here
Mhm.
just spitballing and just come up with all kinds of wild ass conspiracy theories and talking crazy and just, talking about the characters and maybe this and maybe that. It took a while to decompress and get ready for next week's show. And we needed that. Like, to your
Mhm.
point,
Mhm.
I don't know if I would have caught everything and really been able to really absorb this show the way I needed to if I watched it all back to back in binge worthy.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, I probably would have walked away about halfway through,
Mhm.
frustrated, pissed off, scared, whatever, and
Mhm.
be like, yeah,
Mhm.
I need some time away from the show. I gotta
Yeah.
watch something. I gotta watch something to make me laugh. I gotta watch,
Mhm. Mhm.
somebody kill the shit out of 100 people. Watch Schwarzenegger
Mhm.
tell him to get to the chopper or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's think about that, because we do this takes basically assumes the old model, week to week show, and not only that, it's the timing of the show. If this show would have came out during the Obama years,
Oh,
would it be more palatable? Would it be like, a crazy ass president,
Mhm.
could have been him versus the Clinton years versus the
Mhm.
George W. Bush years.
Mhm.
We've had such a variety of presidents since I was able to vote. So would it be different? Would we have handled the show differently if it was like the Obama years or the Clinton years?
we
Wait.
absolutely would have handled it differently for each one of those presidents.
Hmm.
From
Mhm.
once you get past Reagan, from
Mhm.
Big
Yeah,
Bush on through, it would have been
Mhm.
we would have consumed this show very differently for each president we had. However, I think the one thing that we are somewhat forgetting, is and all I'm going to say is the tablet.
yeah,
And I think post 9/11, all that other shit is thrown out the window. Like, I think that
Mhm.
this show post 9/11, it helps to lead into the conspiracy theory of this show, the whole tablet thing, and if you even look at the way post-apocalyptic movies and series have been made post
Mhm.
9/11, that they
Mhm.
all lean in a certain way where basically
Mhm.
the rich, the ultra rich, the super rich, they good. If
Mhm.
they building a base on the moon, sponsored by Tesla and SpaceX or some shit,
Mhm.
they got secret bunkers down the street from Trey's house. They got some hideout caves in the Himalayas or something. They
Mhm.
good. It's the rest of
Mhm.
us who are
Mhm.
screwed to death, and
Mhm.
it almost makes it super scary that no matter,
Mhm.
we talked about when we were doing our live and we were talking about the different apocalypse. We were talking about the Purge. I've never seen the Purge. I know the
uh huh,
premise behind the Purge, but I mean, the
yeah,
Purge damn near seems like some stuff that could happen tomorrow. Like, they could call that
Yeah.
this weekend and it might
Right.
go
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Right.
Like, that's this movie. If we caught this during the Clinton years, even the Obama years, it seems far-fetched. Today, it seems a lot closer to reality than a fantasy apocalyptic
It,
series.
it's funny you say that because I look at the primer, right? The primer is Leave the World Behind,
Huh?
Yeah,
that came
I
out
was
on
gonna
yeah.
mention
Oh,
that.
Netflix.
That was gonna be my point.
Mahershala
Yeah.
Ali, Julia
Go
Roberts.
ahead. You go
Yes.
ahead and make it in. Go ahead and make it, Centel. You go ahead and make a
Oh,
point.
Mhm.
well. I mean, if you want to really be scared, I think I've said this before. Leave the World Behind is another post-apocalyptic movie, but what makes it terrifying is not necessarily the movie; it's the fact that President Obama is his production company, and he was the one that was like, "Yeah, tell this story." The most powerful
Yeah.
man, one of the most knowledgeable people on the planet,
Mhm.
and that's the story. He's like, "I want you to know." That's the one where you're thinking it's like, "Yo,
Yeah. The dude that
if it
used
Mhm.
to have the
goes."
tablet and the
Mhm.
nuclear football.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
that's terrifying.
He's
And
like,
then
this
when
is
you
the
saw how
first
it goes
movie that I'm
down,
gonna do. I'm gonna put my money
Mhm.
and my name
Mhm.
behind
Mhm.
this story.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's unsettling to say the
Mhm.
least. I
Yeah.
remember
Mhm.
I remember as a kid, I was too young to watch it and fully understand it, but I do remember it being like a big buzz. And this is like back in the '80s. There was a little movie called Red Dawn that came out,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the middle of the Cold War. Ronald Reagan is president, and we're talking
Mhm.
about what does it look like when the United States gets invaded, and it was a
Mhm.
really uncomfortable. It was that another movie called War Games. I think it came out back then too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And because of the time, you're thinking about nuclear fallout and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
It really can strike a chord
Mhm.
with you. The only other movie that I could think of that's like that here is maybe Civil War, what Chuck
Mhm.
just recommended, Leave the World Behind. But the thing about those is those are one-offs. It's an hour and a half of torment, and then you go out and see the sun and you go about your day. The thing that's different about this one with Paradise, it's every week plus a week full of water cooler talk. It's
Yep.
like, dang it. It can
Mhm.
to echo what you were saying. It can, you might need to be in the right space, to kind of like
Fortunately,
Mhm.
before you let that soak in your bones.
Mhm.
I didn't watch it like you all. I literally binged it,
Holy shit.
and my God, I binged it in 2 days, and I was like, well,
Oh,
the last episode I held out on, I gave myself like 3 days to rest on it before I
Mhm.
watched it.
I
The
saw
penultimate
like
was like, okay,
mhm.
I'm gonna rest a little bit. Go ahead,
I
Allison.
I binged like 4 episodes
Mhm.
and then I went or 4 or 5 and then I got to the weekly and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, the pace is great, but I was on cliffhangers waiting. The one thing I wanted to say is the other thing about this show and like that question around presidents, I'm like, without any spoilers, I don't know that James Marsden's character is disrupting any story of the liberal president that we like to see in America. He's not, he's a complicated guy, and we have very complicated presidents in this country. Some way, way, way now more than really anybody else. But so I just like, again, on the different like points of like how we think. And then I just want to say I came up with a new term. It is not binge worthy, but it is definitely watch worthy. If I could add that
Mm,
as a tempo
Okay.
way to honor what this show is. I
Mm,
can't say I can binge it, but it's definitely watch worthy as
that's a
like
good one. I like that.
right under,
did
the
they
Yeah.
ever say?
3.9.
Did they ever say in the show was Cam? Was he a Republican candidate?
We don't know. They don't state what type of
They
president
don't
he
say.
is. He's just
I I
well, his this
father's
isn't too
oil
spoiler.
baron.
Yeah,
yeah, his
his father's
father's.
probably Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Yeah.
I
what I
don't
was
think
gonna
that's going
say
to be a
too.
spoiler.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say too. But he's a
Yeah.
different
And based
because
off of their relationship, I would assume he's Republican too. I'll
Yes.
say that.
Yes.
yeah.
Because he held the old stereotypes like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing that his father says to
Mm-hmm.
him that's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming he's Republican too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just
Mm-hmm.
it. All right, so now of course this is not a spoiler, and anyone who's paid any sort of attention to the show was just recently announced. Sterling K. Brown came out on his socials and announced that they have been greenlit, that they are having a season 2. Um, but to Dela's point, is this show maybe not binge worthy, but is it watch worthy? Are we definitely recommending people go and watch this show? How do we want to re-rate this show? We rated all fours, full meal at the beginning. How are we going to re-rate this show now?
I
Can
can't.
I
Go ahead, please.
go ahead?
Please
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right,
Go
Mama,
ahead.
I'll make mine quick. I can't lie. I can't lie, man. The season finale I feel some kind of way. I can't go up to binge worthy for that. I think it's a Simone's Bow performance. It's pretty, it's spectacular. You're watching all the spins and the twists and everything. It's just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Please stick the landing. And she face plants. For me, that's just how it is for me, and it's difficult for me to not see that, and that is why I can't give it binge worthy. But it is a 9 out of 10 show. If they would have stuck the landing, I'd have given it a 10 out of 10. I really would have.
I kind of feel that way. I thought they buttoned it up too tight.
Okay.
They buttoned it up way too tight. It was like, oh, they were shooting just to get one season, Like if this is gonna be it, we wanna do this landing this way.
Mm.
Uh I do like the red herring at the end. I do. I know you don't like it, Centel. I do like the red herring because we know it's a red herring. We know it's a red herring, and that has me excited. That makes me want to move it up. A reason I'm not moving it up because they buttoned it up so tight at the very end. I was like, what? What? This they gave me like the Narnia ending. And I was like, don't give me the Narnia ending.
They gave you the what was it, Lord of the Rings, where they
Yeah,
just
like wow, this just ended way too perfectly. I wanted a little bit more mess in it, and I felt as though there wasn't
Hold on, you
enough
wanted
mess.
more mess in it? More? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. I mean, the facade is over. And they act like
yeah.
it wasn't. So
Hmm.
so I wanted more mess. I did. I'm sorry, I did want more mess. I wanted some Kardashian level mess going
Oh,
on in this. That's what
oh.
I wanted towards the
But
end.
I
isn't
mean,
that what season 2 is?
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
I'm saying, are they setting this up for the Kardashian level mess? And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna turn into going out to the wilderness. You know, it's kind of like in like Shyamalan's Village.
Mhm.
Have the first half of that movie, and, and they ruined the second half because they showed you everything in the first half. That's how
Mhm.
because I wanted to stop there, but I'm kind of curious on what's on the other side of that wall.
All
Mhm.
right, here's my take on it. Everything that Centel said, I agree with. Simone Biles flipping through the air, everything. She face plants. Hell, I think she might have broke her leg. Uh,
That'd
like
be Carrie
it's
Strug, but yes.
yeah, it's bad. It's bad. That's how I felt like this went off. I was like, yeah, this. How could you be this good and you didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch? You got to be crazy. Like that's what I felt. However,
Mm,
we just finished watching another series that I'm not going to say.
mm,
And I feel like the entire season, I felt like they knew they already had a season 2 in the can.
mm.
Like it was already greenlit before they started production that there was already going to be 2 seasons. So they took all of season 1 to just kind of trot out and set the table to give us what Chuck said, the Kardashian level of mess in season 2. And it just all it did was I like the fact that we don't know if we got another season. So let's go out shooting with both barrels in this season. I like it. Even though I did not like the ending, I did not like the way it ended. I like the fact that we put our whole heart, we put a foot in this thing
Yeah.
here. And if if they say, yeah, people not really rocking with it, we gonna cancel the show. Well, they went out or they fell on their sword. Like they did that thing.
Yeah.
I I don't I'm gonna watch season 2. I don't know where the story can go. And I'm ready to be surprised by it. But because even with Simone falling on her face, possibly breaking a leg,
It's still Simone Biles, though.
it's still Simone Biles. For how strong this show was, I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go up to Bingeworthy just because 8 episodes, and you gave me 7.3
Solid.
episodes of
Yeah.
fire.
Fire.
Like I said, one of the best pilots, one of the best penultimate episodes I have seen or seen recently on TV. And this conversation we've had, I will talk to people about this show. Like, what? You ain't watched Paradise? What are you doing with your life? Like, you need to,
Yeah.
like, a full meal show. I'll be like, yeah, you got some time? Yeah, you need to watch that. This is one, yeah, you need to watch this. This is must see
Yeah.
TV. So
Can
I'm
I
gonna
say
go.
that? Oh, sorry.
Go
No,
ahead.
but for that reason,
You're gonna
I
go.
think I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
I contemplated before I like when I sent my rating in, I gave it a 5, and before I hit send, I said, oh. I can't. That damn face plant. Nope, nope. Go back. Give it a 4.
Uh-huh.
I
And I
did,
just
but
and I
yeah.
just affirm I was in that similar place. Just to say, if this is a Simone Biles analogy, if it's a vault, she's got 2 times, and that's why I
Ah,
think season 2. I think that
Mm,
even in, I'm really trying to figure out how to say this without saying the things. Even in what we discover in that final episode, there are lots of a character is faced with a major thing. Oh, how do I say it?
right? It's
yeah,
I feel you.
yeah. I
Yeah,
How
we
yeah.
how
y-
how they gonna get out of that? What
yeah.
they what they finna do is all I know how to ask. That's how I can
Uh-huh.
ask it. What they finna do?
And you're
I
Mm-hmm.
think
right.
that,
You're
and I can
absolutely
use
right.
the they them as a thing. So I want to say that. And so I think, like, for me, if I could make the friendly amendment to a watch worthy, I would go that way, because I
Mhm,
do think it is hard, but I have already referred friends, and I've already been like, "Hey, are you
mhm,
watching Paradise? Like,
mhm.
you really should, because there's some chunky, and yeah, and like we've said, like all the things, yeah, Sterling K. Brown, like
Yeah, yeah.
he
Okay.
could describe butter melting, and it would be, I think, Oscar or Golden Globe. Yeah, I agree. He's gonna get all the things,
He's gonna get
Golden
all the
Globe,
Emmys.
Okay.
all
Well,
the Emmys.
He's gonna get all the
in a
Emmys.
surprise move, and maybe it's not a surprise, we still had 2 full meals, and we have 2 watch
Worthy.
worthies. Um, so that gives us a new total of 4.5, and rounding up, it means that this show is officially a binge-worthy
Binge-worthy show.
show.
Mm.
Edit that.
That doesn't
Which
make me
Edit
mad
that.
at
no,
all.
it
No.
doesn't
Yeah,
make me mad. It's like
yeah,
it's definitely watch worthy for damn sure. Like
yeah, yeah,
I don't think I could watch it like you did, Chuck. That is just a glutton for
yeah. I was
punishment.
like
That is
back to
too
back,
much.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
That
you
last
gotta
Mm-hmm.
episode, I was like, I'm
you
gonna hold out, and a lot
yeah,
of reason I held out was because you and Centel, because I hop into the Discord and I'm hearing chatter, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait a little bit.
yeah, you definitely have to let them episodes, you have to let them marinate a little bit. You gotta let them
Yeah,
sizzle in your spirit and just
I
oof.
did rewatch the penultimate though.
Mm-hmm.
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 I was like, I watched it twice. I was like, wow, this is
Mm-hmm.
how it would go down.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite alarming to say the
Yes,
least.
to say the least.
Yeah. You make you feel like you know, you need to have you a house with a good basement and maybe pick up a few extra canned goods every time you go to the
Yeah,
store.
yeah.
Even though it
Mark,
probably ain't gonna matter. You'd be swimming.
not gonna matter. Not gonna matter.
Just be out
Uh,
here swimming. I need Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Mark also gave it a full meal.
Okay.
Okay.
So
No.
Mark also gave it a full meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the science behind it was like when the guy described what was going on, I was like, woo,
Yeah. Because
woo,
it sounds so much like what is
woo.
currently happening. You
Yeah,
know,
Mm-hmm.
ripped from the headlines. It's like, ooh,
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It makes me want to move to Colorado.
listen, listen, get them extra
It was
rooms
still
ready.
alive even here.
Get them extra rooms ready, my boy.
That
You
or
start,
Toronto, one of the two. That or
Oh
Toronto.
no.
yeah. Well, Toronto might be the better bet.
They tell us that if something like that does happen, Toronto's the best city to live
Can
in.
I give one shout out to before I know we're getting close to wrapping this
Uh-huh.
bad boy out? Arguably one of the greatest product placements I've seen in a show was in this series. So much so it became meme worthy.
Oh,
It was, there's a
it is
product
life. It's
that gets
life.
shouted out, and I promise you will remember it. And you,
Yeah.
I promise you will. I can't
It
remember
is
the last time
life.
I've seen product placement.
Oh
That,
yeah, it's great product
Yeah.
placement.
And it wasn't even a current model. It was,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was an old one too.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Oh man,
That's,
the things people will do in order to, yeah. Okay.
listen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and rocking with us tonight, of course, on uh, Bingeworthy as usual. We are so thankful for Digital Click. They provide all of our marketing needs. And so if you ever have any need for graphics, just help with your website, any marketing, things like that, make sure you reach out to Digital Click. We have the greatest technical producer in the land, Mr. Rodney Kajudo. We can't do this without him. He is one half of the glorious team that is the Geekish Network, also led by our fearless leader, the OG, triple OG, Mr. Charles Babb right here. I am super appreciative for the wonderful insight and thoughts of not only Centel with the Intel, who, again, shameless plug, go check out his channel. There's 8 full episodes of reactions to this series, and then there's a episode of kind of a breakdown alive over on my channel as well. And as always, it is so wonderful to see you again, Dayla. It has been too long. Please don't let it be this long again. We value your insight, value your thoughts, and the way you break things down. And it was an absolute joy to have you on this particular episode.
Thank you. Yes.
Everyone, please join us again next week. We should be getting started around 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Wednesday, and we will be covering Amazon Prime's Invincible Season 3. So yeah, you want to show up to that one. Yeah. You want to show up to that one. So we will say peace. We do miss our brethren who cannot be with us tonight. Miss Courtney Scott Wright, Mr. Johnny Randolph, who you saw on Geek Beast earlier tonight, and Miss Catherine Hicks. We miss you. We'll see all of you again soon. Peace.